It's a shame that we live in a society where serial killers who have murdered innocent civilians in cold blood can walk free in their communities and live their lives normally like the rest of us. Such a disgrace in society is what we're here to discuss in this particular video. So stay tuned as we list down the 10 terrifying killers that are now walking free for absurd reasons. But before we get straight into the list, make sure to like and smash the subscribe button to stay updated with the streaming Encyclopedia's videos. Number 10. Issei Sagawa. The man responsible for killing his dear friend in 1981 now lives as a free, happy resident in Tokyo. Issei's wealthy father provided a lawyer for his defense, and after being held for 2 years awaiting trial, he was found legally sane and unfit to stand a trial. Number 9. Mary Bell. While girls her age were playing with toys, Mary Bell killed humans for fun. Some claim that she was forced into sexual acts with men since the age of 4. Not surprisingly, she was charged with manslaughter for 2 men. However, she was released from prison 12 years later to start a new life. Number 8. Karla Homolka. She's a Canadian serial killer and rapist who, with her husband, Paul Bernardo, raped and killed at least 3 minors between 1990 and 1992. Following her release from prison in 2005, Homolka happily started a new family by marrying her lawyer's brother in Quebec. Number 7. Lynette Squeaky Fromm. Believe it or not, the infamous woman who pointed a gun at President Gerald R. Ford was paroled from prison on August 14, 2009. Despite receiving an initial life imprisonment sentence, she currently lives in New York as of today. Number 6. The Lane's Angels of Death. Maria Gruber, Irene Ladolf, Stefania Meyer, and Waltraud Wagner were a group of Austrian nurses who murdered at least 49 patients between 1983 and 1989. The group killed their victims by overdosing on morphine or forcing water into their lungs. Funny enough, all 4 of them were released from prison in 2008 based on good behavior. Halfway at number 5 is William Huff. William Huff was convicted of murdering 2 Sierra Vista girls in 1967 and was sentenced to life in prison. Despite receiving life imprisonment for mutilating the dead bodies of his victims, he was released in 2015 and now lives in a halfway house near an elementary school. Number 4. Louis van Schuur is South Africa's most prolific mass murderer, former policeman, and security guard who committed murders between 1986 and 1989. How would you react as a loved one of a victim to learn that Louis was released from prison in just 21 years from his initial 90-year sentence after killing 39 people and shooting nearly 100? Number 3. Steve Clem Grogan. He played an important role in the LaBianca murders in 1969. Hence, his death sentence was eventually overturned and commuted to life, only for him to be paroled in 1985. Grogan was the only member who was released from the Manson family. Number 2. Janine Jones. This lunatic is an American serial killer who is responsible for the deaths of up to 60 infants and children in her care as a licensed vocational nurse during the 1970s and 1980s. Despite receiving a 99-year-old sentence due to law to prevent prison overcrowding, she was scheduled for mandatory release from prison on March 1, 2018. And finally, the most terrifying killer who is walking free is Pedro Lopez. Colombia's deadliest serial killer was found guilty of nearly 110 murders, as well as raping nearly 300 women, known as the Monster of the Andes Pedros. Victims were girls under the age of 12. Despite around 350 murders, he was only given 14 years in a psych ward and was later released for good behavior. And that concludes our list of the most terrifying serial killers now on the loose. If you aren't horrified enough, then why not check out our top 10 serial killers video by clicking on the link on the screen above. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this week's video. And if you did, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And make sure to check some of our other top 10 series videos.